Good morning, everybody. So hopefully all of you guys are starting to get yourselves in action. And I wanted to share a little bit about that and kind of what that looks like. So I'll share with you what that looks like for me. And I know a couple of you guys have been telling me what you've been doing. And so I'd love to maybe have us share those stories next week. So kind of, do this week, impress yourself, push beyond your boundaries, everything Jamil's talking about this week, so that you have your story to tell next week. And I'll be very excited to for you to share them with everybody. But one of the things, so quiet mind, right? That's a really important thing. I think for any of us that have done it for any amount of time, we know the benefits of it. Yet for some reason, I don't know about you guys, but once I get out of the habit of it, I don't do it anymore. And one of the things I realized for myself was that it's because I don't have stuff set up to where it's nice and easy. Like it's going to take a couple steps, right? So let's say with meditation, well, I got to go find a meditation that I like. Then I got to download it onto my phone, and then I got to push play. And so yesterday, I just went on and I downloaded a week's worth of meditation things. And so that it's just as easy as a press of a button. When I'm laying there ready to go to sleep, it's just like, when I have that choice, do I do it? Do I not do it? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I hope for you, you are looking for the small, easy things that you can do in your life that are going to become habits that are going to serve you. So the other thing, remember yesterday I was telling you guys about the index card, and that's where I happen to put like my personal goals, the ones that I'm going to review. I'm going to try to review it 3 times a day. As well as on the back side of the card, I put my why, because I can get real forgetful sometimes, even though I think this why, it totally brings me tears, but then I forget about it. And then I'm going to, watch more TV or something like that. So please find ways that you are winning, those small wins. And then I'd love for you to share them in our group, because that's going to help us like, oh, dude, I could totally do that too. And then you'll be able to get moving on that. I'm sorry, I didn't realize my camera was off. I'm talking away, looking very animated. Good morning. There we go. All right, especially since, come on, I know not all of you guys are in bed, yet everybody's going to give me their name. I need you to at least upload a picture so I can see a smiling face. Hi, Robin. I know you're on the train. All right. Real quick reminders. Fisk event. I'm really excited. Yesterday, put in quite a few hours on getting the bow wrapped around that. And I think there might be a little bit of confusion on the events, which ones you should go to, what order I would do it if it were me. Number one, most important is convention, to get yourself there. Especially this is the very first Optavia convention. That's going to be out of this world. Second would be the Fisk event. It's kind of like a family reunion, but man, there is nobody better to help you bust through that mind stuff than Kim. If you guys have never really mentored with her or spent time talking to her, she's really good at that. And then you have the top people in our Fisk team that are going to be teaching the Take Shape for Life stuff, and there's nobody better that does that. So and then last but not least is, you may have heard that the Take Shape for Life Optavia crew, at the home office, they're kind of like doing this tour, and they're going to many different towns and stuff. That if there is one in your town or within an hour or two, absolutely get there. But if there's not, that's not something you're going to want to fly to or whatever, because they're going to do it on Zoom. So, just you can like let any stress over that go. So anyways, if you have any other questions, please let me know. And I'm trying to kind of figure out what we're going to do and how we're going to do things for convention. I don't know if you fill out the form in our group. I believe we have one that just kind of says, yes, I'm going. I have my flights booked. We always put like when we're coming in and stuff, so that way we can like share cars or something like that. And then last but not least, I wanted to mention, I'm going to send out a survey today, and I'd love it if you guys could fill it out, because as you noticed, yesterday's was really short, right? Our training. And so I'm trying to figure out the right amount of time for them, the right format for them, so that it's something that we're going to use and that's helpful and good. Okay, somebody's chatting. You know what, guys? I never can see the chat. What are you saying? Oh, all right. Thanks, Robin. Go ahead. I'll go ahead and do that after I'm done with this. All right. So there may not be a file yet, but we'll get one. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start with our training part today, and then we shall talk about it. So I believe I'm sharing file already. Everybody can see daily mental push-ups over there? Yeah? Good. Not good. Where's my...
I find in my experience, coaches spending a lot of time on the wrong things. And not even that they're wrong things, but you want to do high leverage activities. So, like if you want to have strong abs, I mean, there's no point of doing shoulder raises. I mean, maybe that will help you get stronger abs, but probably not likely. So when we talk about client acquisition, one of the things that I see is, especially for the busy coach, right? This coach is busier than everyone else in the world. I want to read you guys something. And hopefully this resonates with you, and hopefully you understand what this is saying. And hopefully, as you look at kind of your situation in your life, you understand certain points of where you've done the exact same thing. So this poem is by a woman named Portia Nelson. I started studying her probably in 2013 when I was 2013 when I really started studying Wayne Dyer heavily. And at that time in my business, I was really trying to figure out how to do this, how to work with people. We had a lot of success right away, but my mental growth hadn't expanded to where the business growth was. And whenever you have that, it will always shrink back down. This is the same philosophy as to why I told you people that just win the lottery, generally their personal development isn't at a place of where they can handle that sort of success. And so the success will always dwindle back down to where that person's development is. And so this is why you see lottery winners within a year, 2 years, 5 years, they've lost all of their money because they're not the sort of people that can actually handle that sort of success. And so it always dwindles back down. So this is what my business did. We shot out of the gates really fast. We started helping a lot of people, but now there's a saying, to whom much is given, much is required. Well, I wasn't at a point in my own personal development to where I could handle that sort of success. There's too much requirements for me, and I didn't understand how to handle that. So now I began this journey of trying to figure out, well, how can I handle that? And so that led me to a guy named Wayne Dyer. And so one day Wayne shared this poem of this woman named Portia Nelson, and it's called The 5 Chapters of Life. And so chapter 1, she explains, I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I'm lost. I'm helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There's a hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There's a hole in the sidewalk. I see it's there. I fall in. Oh my gosh, it's a habit. But my eyes are open. I know where I'm at. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5. I simply walk down a different street. So what I've been conveying to you guys for the last 4 or 5 days is everything that it takes to be highly, highly successful in this and in life really comes down to your thoughts. How are you going to handle walking down the same street? Are you going to continue to have the same sort of responses to these elements that are thrown in front of you? Because if you do, then you'll keep getting what you've been getting. And if what you've been getting is nowhere close to what you wrote down your goals on the top of that paper, then I would ask you to change it and walk down a new street. The big problem is the way that we're thinking now is a habit. And the challenge is we're going to continue to fall in the same sort of holes. We're going to continue to have the same arguments with our loved ones, with our spouses, with our kids. We're going to continue to think thoughts like, this person probably thinks I'm bugging them. This person's probably too busy. I can't do this. I can't make that training. I don't want to ask for the things that I need help in. These people are conspiring against me. These guys are in cliques. These guys don't love me. If that's continually the street that your thoughts are going to go down, then we'll fall in the same hole. We'll never reach that goal because that goal isn't met. In this business, people's lives aren't going to change. So we have to become intelligent enough to just figure out, one, you see Portia in chapter 2. Well, in chapter 3, at least she started noticing that there was a hole in the street. For us, it was noticing those non-serving thoughts. She could see it. For us, we need to get to a place where we could see it first. And then we can start working on it. What I love about this as well is for the first 3 or 4 chapters of her life, it was everyone else's fault. It wasn't her fault that she kept falling in the same hole over and over again. And this is generally what happens with new coaches. This is certainly what happened with me, to where I didn't know how to take personal responsibility for my own success or lack of success. So I went to blame all my clients. I went to blame my coaches. I went to blame my mentorship. Highly successful and intelligent people do not do that. They realize that everything is my fault. And as you start to give that power away and try to place blame on all these other folks, even your kids, if you, I've seen it happen over and over again with parents. These guys will have a young child and they'll put their cup of water on the edge of the table. The kid will knock the cup over, water spills everywhere, glass shatters, and they'll get upset with the kid. To where a highly intelligent, emotional person would say, well, that's my fault. I should have put the cup in a different location. Everything that happens to us has to become something that we can control. If we blame falling in the same hole over and over and over again on other people, well, I can't get to my healthy body goals because my wife keeps bringing snacks into the house. That's not a her problem, that's a you problem. You're falling in the same hole. How do you continuously respond to the events that are happening? It's your fault. If your goal has been executive director and you haven't hit it, and the response is, well, clients keep pushing their orders out. It's not a client's problem, that's a you problem. Because probably you haven't gotten into action enough at the beginning of the month. Probably you waited to the last week of the month to actually start planting seeds, following up with people and doing very simple things. If the goal is global director and we haven't done that yet, that's no one else's fault but yours. Because probably you've been falling into the same hole over and over again the way you choose to respond. So the 5 chapters of life. So we never, ever, ever have to look outside of ourselves to figure out why we're not being successful. All of the answers are already inside of us. We just got to figure out how to have different responses. One of the things I learned early on as well, and I saw Stephanie Jaycock's post about it, but if we would change, everything would change for us. If we change the way that we think about things, if we change the way we typically get into action, if we change our routines in the morning, if we change the way that we tell our spouses how we even get up and start the day with them. So instead of being so busy and running around and trying to rush off to work and all these things, if we change the way that we slow ourselves down, say, I love you, what can I do for you today? I guarantee you everything will change. If you tell a good story to enough people, it's going to fall on good ears. That's just how it happens. So in 2013, I'm still rocking this list that I've been using for over a year. And on that list, there was a girl named Veronica. Now, Veronica and I grew up together. We went to high school together. And we ran track together. I always liked her. Thought she was just a really, really cool person. Really cool personality. And actually, her brother lived next door to my best friend. So we would always hang out with Robert and go to his house and stuff like that. Well, I hadn't really connected with Veronica in a long time, probably since like 1999. And we had talked a little bit back and forth on social media, but I hadn't really like talked to her for a very long time. But her name was on my list. And so one day, it was on a Wednesday, leaving the Wednesday morning breakfast that we have out here in California. It's time for me to work my list. And so I did what I preached. I picked up the phone, I called Veronica, and I got the word out. What was funny was, at that point, she told me that her mom and her stepdad, I think she really talked about her stepdad more, but she said, oh, maybe my mom and my stepdad can use this. I know they've been dealing with some like medications and they haven't felt well and all this stuff. Like, send me more information. I'll pass it along to them. And so that's what I did. I followed my system. I followed sending a thank you email. I put her in my connections group. I made sure we were friends on Facebook. I followed up multiple times. And guess what she got from me every 2 weeks? A connections email. And she's still getting them. Because years later, she's still in my connections group. So what's interesting is, if you would have looked at Veronica back then, you could have made a very easy case for prejudging her and saying, well, Veronica's in great shape. Like, she would never, ever do a program like this. But me calling her wasn't about her to begin with. But I think if you would have looked at her, there's no way you would have thought that she would have needed a program like this. So fast forward to January, February of the next year. And all of a sudden, I get a text from Veronica saying, hey, call me. I want to do your program. And my girlfriend, Rosie, is going to do it with me. And I'm sitting at Justin Avini's house on his couch saying, what? Veronica wants to do our program? I thought she was going to send me her parents. So I called her up, and she says, hey, I want to do your program. Just take my card information. And my girlfriend Rosie's going to do a program too. And here's her card information, or give her a call. She's ready to go as well. Just like that. But I thought this whole getting the word out there didn't work. Just like that. So Veronica goes in the program, and I start talking to this woman named Rosie. I have no clue who she is. And within a week, I'm realizing this girl is really, really cool. And this girl, I don't know if she's ever going to be a coach, but this Rosie Bizerto girl has got whatever it is. And from that moment on, I remember we would be texting all the time. Dominic would be like, "Who you texting with?" But it was just like, I don't know, when you meet someone and you're like, that person's gonna be my friend forever. And what's interesting is when Veronica got going, I thought that maybe she would be the one that would start coaching. But right away it was revealed to me that Rosie was the coach. And so Veronica goes on, she starts rocking the program. Rosie goes on, she rocks the program. Now we're around April 2014. And both of them they didn't even lose that much, maybe 10 pounds here, 15 pounds here. But it wasn't really about the weight for them. It was about the energy. It was about feeling confident. It was about feeling good in their own skin. It was amazing. But if you would have looked at both of them, you wouldn't have ever thought that either one of them would need to start this program, right? If we're in the prejudging sense. And so it takes me quite a while, but I do everything I'm supposed to do, which we're going to talk about next week. So what are the steps and what are the systems to take a client and now move them into becoming a coach? Well, I did these systems over and over and over again with Rosie. She promised me that she would not coach. It was something she didn't want to do. I got her on a celebration call with Karen Elstrom. At the end of that call, she said, I knew it. I knew you guys were going to try to force me or sell me on becoming a coach. And I said, Rosie, we're just celebrating you, man. I asked Rosie over and over again if she would speak on the Wednesday night client appreciation call. She told me over and over again that she wouldn't do it. One day I convinced her to get on. I don't even think she had to speak that time, but it was the fact that she was open to getting on. And then all of a sudden she starts coaching. Just like I said, everyone does. When people tell me they're not going to coach, I giggle inside because they are. They just don't know it yet. And it's in their best interest. Okay? So now Rosie becomes a coach. She killed it on program. And now look at all of these people that have been helped from the deserters. And all it took, I just picked up the phone, made a connection with Veronica. Oh, and the story does not end there. You remember Veronica's mom and her stepdad? Well, they finally did go on program. But they didn't go on program through me. They went on program through Rosie because the relationship is better. And did they go on and get healthy? The answer is yes. Did Veronica's mom become a coach? The answer is yes. All from one connection. I told you guys, really, really successful people do not work on a one-to-one ratio. They use one message, and probably, I'm not even going to go there right now, but I was going to tell you guys a story about Jesus. But this is just what happens. Picked up the phone, made one call, put her into a system. All of a sudden, not only does she come back, she brings somebody else. That person becomes a coach. Now, hundreds and hundreds of people have been affected.
All right. So that really is how easy things are when when you are what you are sharing to people. When you move in and out of, yeah, I'm a coach. No, I'm not a coach. I want to be healthy. I'm kind of healthy and not, as opposed to somebody who's just moving every single day towards optimal health, right? And I don't know if you guys caught it, but how much time from when he had Rosie on his list, or not Rosie, Veronica, to when, Veronica became, I don't know, an ED. It was some time, but he had consistent action. And with a lot of you guys, and myself included, the difficult pieces come in when there's a lot of start, stop. I'm in it, I'm out of it. I'm in it, I'm out of it. It's mentally exhausting, right? Because even when you're out of it, you're thinking, God, I should be in it. I should, right? And then when you're in it, it's like, okay, why is nothing happening? Faster. Oh, I'm tired. I'm going to have to go do something else first. You know what I mean? And it's just like your client with 5-in-1. It's just like if you were trying to drive a manual stick shift car, right? If you keep popping the clutch, I mean, A, you're going to ruin your engine, right? You get exhausted, you break it. Um, but not only that, it's not an enjoyable ride between the screeching and the, back and forth when you're trying to drive. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who drives a stick shift like that. I don't know, but it can be painful. So that's something to look at. And just like I was sharing with you guys about how I just took a look. It just, that story of the sidewalk thing. It's like I had to look around. It's like, dang it, why do I keep falling in this hole? Why do I keep having an unfulfilled day, unfulfilled with what my goals were, or action steps that would help move me towards my goal? And it's like, oh, it's as simple as, right? Just like all she had to do was move over a little bit, right? And she wouldn't fall in the hole. Oh, it's as simple as having it already downloaded onto my phone. So it's easy, quick, boom, click, done. Oh, okay. So I do it. And so I encourage you guys today to look around in your life, and hopefully you all have your goals, right? Everybody just shake your head yes, and I'm hoping it's true. Okay, so look at your goal and say, what action step does it require? What's one of the action steps that are required for me to reach that goal? Okay, and we're not just talking take shape for life, you guys. I mean, Optavia, it could be any part of your life. And then say, well, why don't I do that step? And most likely it's because somehow it's broken down into 2 or 3 steps that you have to do to get there. Some of them you're going to be able to cross off, as I said, like with the meditation. Now, if going to the gym is another one of those things, right? Most of the time it's going to be, well, I got to change into my gym clothes. I got to put my tennis shoes on, and then I got to get in the car, and then I got to go to the gym. And believe me, there's little bitty things that you can make easier there. In the morning, instead, when you get dressed in your gym clothes, or something like that. But if you really cannot think of anything, give me a call. We'll go through them and brainstorm and try to find some things. There are a couple, so your habit of thought, right, and your habit of action. Those are the 2 things I want you to, instead of falling into the hole, look at, be aware of. Doesn't mean you're going to cross, go to a different street, find a new path. Just be aware of it. See if there's anything you can change of it. And one of the things that Jamil had said, which I hope you caught, but he had said calling the person, the people on his list, had nothing to do with them in the first place, right? Him calling Veronica really didn't have anything to do with him calling that particular person, right? It wasn't like he was like, okay, Veronica's going to be my next ED. No, guess what? She simply led him to his next, I think, integrated national now. But do you see what I mean? Like, many times things don't necessarily show up exactly the way you think they will. But when you're doing the right things for the right reasons, you reap that. And so, he has a new friend, he has a new family of friends, and they're people who are changing the world with him, which is what he was looking to do. So one last thing, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, you guys, you are literally 5 people away from financial freedom. And I don't know who those 5 people are, right? But once you find your core team, it's not even just financial freedom. There's a mental freedom to it too, because those are the people that will inspire you to keep moving forwards towards optimal health. I am so thankful, that I have found a team of 5 plus more, and you guys are those plus mores. And I really appreciate you guys coming on these calls, being here, giving all of us another chance, to really get all of our ducks in a row, to really be Optavia ready, and to live this great thing called life that we have been gifted with. So with that, we are going to discuss in depth, kind of somewhat the boring stuff, but you got to inspect what you expect. So we're going to be going through your system. So figure out, what is your system? Somebody tells me they're kind of interested, or they popped into my mind when I was in the shower. What is my system that I use? And how do I follow up? Really figure that out for yourself so that you can compare it to another, a system that I know for sure works and gets you the results that you want. and then we'll figure out what small things we need to do to shore it up, right? Maybe it's, well, I don't have it every 2-week email to send out. And so then for me to have to send it out, to make it, then to get the list together, then to send it. See, we moved it into a multiple step thing, and I can help you change that to be just a 1-step thing. So I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.